All right, today we're jumping into a really interesting move from DroneShield, a company that's become a huge player on the modern battlefield. And their latest announcement, well, it tells us a ton about where defense tech is heading. So let's get right into it.
First things first, let's start with a question that is becoming more and more urgent every single day. What do you actually do about a rogue drone? I mean, think about it. You see one buzzing over an airport, a packed stadium, maybe even a military base. The threat? It's not just real, it's getting bigger.
And yeah, we are not talking about your neighbor's toy drone here. The stakes are way, way higher. The real threat comes from terrorists, state actors, criminal organizations, you name it. This is a seriously complex security problem.
So that really sets the stage for our first section, where we're going to break down what this new kind of threat actually looks like.
Okay, so in this world, you're going to hear an acronym a lot, CUAS. It stands for Counter-Unmanned Aircraft Systems. Basically, it's the whole shebang, all the tech, all the systems designed to do one thing, find and stop a bad drone before it causes any trouble.
All right, so we get the problem. Now let's talk about the solution, or at least one of the major players trying to solve it. And that brings us to the company at the heart of all this, DroneShield. So how do they actually do it? Well, they've boiled their whole complex process down to 3 simple, powerful steps. It's pretty smart. First, you gotta detect the drone. Then, you track where it's going. And finally, you defeat the threat. Now, that word defeat might make you think of, explosions and stuff. But that's not what's happening here. And this is a really crucial point. Their tech is actually safe and non-destructive. It's not about blowing things up, it's about forcing the drone to either land safely or just go back to wherever it came from.
So what's under the hood? Well, it's a mix of some seriously smart AI-powered hardware and sophisticated software. And who's buying this stuff? Pretty much exactly who you'd think. We're talking military, government, law enforcement, and all those places you really don't want a rogue drone flying around, like airports and power plants.
Okay, so that's the background. Now let's connect all of this to the big news that just dropped, because this isn't just some standard corporate announcement. It's a really calculated strategic move. Let's get into their new CCO.
So the headline is this: DroneShield promoted one of their own, a guy named Louis Gamarra, to be the new Chief Commercial Officer, the CCO. And you might be thinking, okay, a promotion, so what? Well, why does this one matter so much? Well, the company's CEO, Oleg Vornik, laid it out pretty clearly. He said that as they keep getting bigger and bigger globally, they absolutely need top-tier commercial leadership. Why? To turn all this demand they're seeing into actual, sustained results. The key takeaway here, this is all about cashing in on massive growth. And that means Gamarra's new mission is crystal clear. He's now the guy in charge of their entire global sales strategy. His one job is to take all that crazy demand and turn it into rock-solid long-term growth for DroneShield, everywhere.
And that brings us to just how huge the opportunity in front of them really is. So let's talk about that global sales strategy.
I mean, just look at that number, over $10 billion. And let's be clear, this isn't a market for toys. This is being driven by major geopolitical shifts and the fact that suddenly, every country and major company needs to figure out how to secure their airspace. The counter-drone market, it's not some tiny niche anymore. It's a gigantic, exploding global industry.
And the new CCO himself, Louis Gamarra, basically said the same thing. His words were that they're in a period of rapid global expansion and increasing demand. So putting him in this role, it's all about having a proven leader whose job is to go out and grab the biggest slice of that $10 billion pie that they possibly can.
And it looks like Gamarra is definitely the right guy for the job. He's not some rookie. He's already got a solid track record. He's the one who's been successfully expanding DroneShield's presence in huge growth markets like Latin America, Europe, and all across the Asia-Pacific.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. What does a move like this really tell us about the entire defense industry? Well, for one thing, it's an industry that is absolutely on the rise. And this is where DroneShield's strategy is so interesting. You've got these massive, traditional defense companies that do everything. Tanks, jets, ships, the whole 9 yards. But DroneShield, they do one thing. They are laser-focused on the counter-drone sector. You could say they're specialists in a world full of generalists.
And that intense focus is what really sets them apart. Get this. According to our source material, DroneShield is the only company on the stock market in the world that is 100% dedicated to just counter-drone tech. That gives them a completely unique lane to operate in.
So, this all leaves us with one last, pretty fascinating question to chew on. We all see it, right? The drone market itself, for both regular and military use, is just exploding. But think about it. For every single drone that goes up in the sky, the need for a way to defend against it grows right alongside it. So here's the thought. Could the market for the shield end up being even bigger than the market for the sword?